The Vraken hunting grounds stretched endlessly beneath twin moons. A landscape of crimson grass and obsidian stones where the galaxy's most feared apex predators made their home. Kale had crash-landed here 3 months ago, her escape pod a twisted wreck half buried in the northern valley. She should have been dead within hours. The Vraken were legendary 8 feet of corded muscle, razor-sharp claws, and predatory instincts honed over millennia. They'd torn through armored military units like tissue paper during the border wars. Instead, she was alive. And somehow, inexplicably, she'd become their doctor. It started with Luma and Tico, 2 cubs barely past their first molt. Kale had been gathering water-bearing roots near the crash site when she heard the pitiful mewling. She found them huddled behind a boulder, Luma's foreleg bent at an unnatural angle, Tico's flank bearing deep gashes from what looked like a territorial dispute with a larger predator. Every instinct screamed at her to run. These weren't domesticated animals, they were infant killing machines. But Kale had been a field medic for the Terran Expeditionary Corps for 8 years. The sounds of pain transcended species barriers. She approached slowly, palms up, making herself as small and non-threatening as possible. Tycho hissed, bearing rows of needle-like teeth, but Luma only whimpered. Kale knelt at a careful distance, pulled her salvaged med kit from her pack, and began working. "Easy now," she murmured, the same tone she'd used on countless injured soldiers. "I know it hurts. Let me help." Tycho watched with luminous amber eyes as Kale set Luma's leg with improvised splints fashioned from carbon fiber struts scavenged from her pod. She cleaned Tico's wounds with antiseptic gel, fingers steady despite her racing heart. The cubs could kill her with a single swipe. Instead, they sat perfectly still. When she finished, Luma tested the splint cautiously, then chirped a sound of relief. Tycho nuzzled against Kale's shoulder with enough force to nearly knock her over, purring like a malfunctioning engine. She didn't realize Vraken could purr. The cubs returned the next day, and the day after. Each time, they brought injuries, minor scrapes, embedded thorns, once an infected bite. Kale treated them all, and each time they lingered longer, observing her with unsettling intelligence. Then, on the 4th week, they brought their mother. Kale nearly fainted when she saw the massive Vraken female emerge from the tree line, every muscle rippling beneath midnight black fur. The matriarch was easily 9 feet tall, her battle scars testament to decades of dominance. Luma and Tycho bounded ahead, chirping excitedly, gesturing toward Kale with their tails. The matriarch approached with lethal grace, stopping 3 meters away. She stared at Kale with eyes that held disturbing comprehension. Then, slowly, deliberately, she extended her foreleg. There was a deep laceration across the pad, already showing signs of infection. Kale's hands trembled as she cleaned and sutured the wound, acutely aware that one wrong move meant death. The matriarch never flinched, never growled. When Kale finished wrapping the paw in sterile bandaging, the massive predator touched her forehead gently to Kale's, a gesture the human didn't understand but felt in her bones was significant. After that, they came in droves. The clan numbered 47 individuals, and within a month, Kale had treated 32 of them. Torn muscles from hunts gone wrong, cracked claws, parasitic infections. A young male with a severely bruised rib cage from a mating challenge. An elder with cataracts clouding her vision, whom Kale could only make comfortable with anti-inflammatory compounds synthesized from local flora. She established what could only be called a clinic near her crash site. The Vraken brought her offerings: fresh kills, strange glowing crystals, even a functional communication device they'd scavenged from another wreck. They learned her schedule, arriving in orderly succession rather than overwhelming her. Mothers brought cubs for wellness checks. Warriors came before major hunts for performance optimization. Kale discovered they possessed sophisticated communication, not speech as humans understood it, but complex vocalizations, pheromone signals, and body language that conveyed nuanced meaning. They designated her with a specific scent mark that meant clan healer and protected. 3 months in, a Terran rescue ship finally detected her beacon. The extraction team arrived in full combat gear, weapons hot, expecting to recover remains. Instead, they found Kale surrounded by a protective circle of Vraken, calmly removing an embedded projectile from a scout's shoulder while Luma and Tycho played with her medical scanner nearby. The standoff lasted 15 seconds before the matriarch stepped forward, touching her forehead to Kale's, then backing away with clear dismissal of threat. The message was unmistakable. she belongs to the clan. Captain Morrison, a 20-year veteran, had seen many strange things in his career. A human running a medical practice for the galaxy's most dangerous predators wasn't even on his list of possibilities. "Dr. Kale," he managed, "we're here to bring you home." Kale looked at the ship, gleaming and sterile and human. Then she looked at Luma, whose leg had healed perfectly straight. At Teiko, whose scars had faded to silver lines. At the matriarch, who'd brought her own newborn cubs just yesterday for their first examination. "I need to request an extended assignment," Kale said. "I'm establishing the first interspecies medical exchange program. These people," she gestured at the assembled Vraken, "they trust me. They need me. And honestly, Captain, I need them too." Morrison opened his mouth to argue, to cite regulations and safety protocols, but stopped. He'd read the reports about the Vraken, savage, uncontrollable, impossible to negotiate with. Yet here they sat, waiting patiently for their healer to finish talking to the strange visitors, respecting boundaries she'd established through nothing but compassion and competence. "I'll need to report this to command," he said finally. "Tell them," Kale replied, already turning back to her patient, "that humanity just made its first real alien friends. And it started with a med kit and 2 injured cubs who believed I could help." Luma chirped agreement. The entire clan purred in harmony. And somewhere in the Terran diplomatic corps, an entire division's understanding of first contact was about to be revolutionized by one stranded medic, who'd done what came naturally. She'd healed those in pain, regardless of how many claws they possessed.